Speaking of, let's talk Tigers. So, big news of the past week. Usually what happens is I'll do a segment on a team, and then the very next day there's some massive news. And that's not exactly what happened with the Tigers, but last week, the Tigers announced they are signing Framber Valdez to a 3-year, $150 million deal. Now, before I really get into Framber Valdez and what this means for the team, Framber Valdez is a very good player. He's a two-time All-Star. He was a World Series champ a couple of years ago. This past year, 3.8 WAR, 3.66 ERA, 12.45 WHIP, almost 200 innings pitched. You know, his ERA plus has always been above league average pretty much since like 2020. He's been above league average. Very, very solid pitcher. Less than 1 home run per 9 innings pitched. Only 3 walks per 9. Almost 9 strikeouts per 9. He's a very good pitcher. And granted, it's been a little bit since he was an all-star. Even just last year when he wasn't an all-star, he was 7th in Cy Young voting and finished 15th in MVP voting, which is amazing. But look, he's entering his 30s. He's probably on the downwards, He's probably on a little bit of the downward swing, but he's a hard-throwing lefty. He's going to make your pitching staff a lot better. Now, the other important news of the day was that Justin Verlander has been signed again by the Tigers. A 1-year deal, $13 million, which I think they're deferring like most of it, something like that. Like most of the money is deferred, which at least opens up your ability to say, hey, we can go out and make a trade at the deadline, or even furthermore, we can go out and sign some more free agents while we're at it. Like, okay, that works, right? Like, that's good. And I really like that they signed Justin Verlander because, frankly, from a nostalgia standpoint, I'm just happy that he's back. It always felt weird to me when he was playing on other teams, and he was on the Mets there for a bit, and then he was on the Giants, and it's just like, okay, I just bring him home. And I can pull up his numbers. There's obviously no world where Justin Verlander is what he was at his prime. There just isn't. But last year, he was fine. A 1.2 WAR. He pitched to a 3.85 ERA, 13.62 WHIP. It wasn't terrible. He hadn't been an all-star, though, in a few years. Not that that means that much. But he's an above league average pitcher. Or at least he was last year with a 1.03 ERA. ERA plus, I should say. If he had a 1.03 ERA, that'd be bad. But Verlander, it is more than just nostalgia. He's very good. He's going to be very good for that room. He makes you better. He does not make you worse. And with the potential of not having Reese Olson at the start of the year, I would like to have a competent pitcher in there, and Justin Verlander does that for you. So, and frankly, you mix him with Chris Fetter, who is a very good pitching coach. He's shown an ability to kind of bring out the best out of some of these older pitchers. We saw it with Jack Flaherty a couple of years ago, and we've seen it with the development of Tarek Skubal, obviously. Now, do I think that Justin Verlander has a whole lot left in him? Probably not. There's a reason he signed a 1-year deal. Now, all of that being said, I think there's been a bit of a vibe shift in the narrative on this team. And I think it culminates in there is a serious contingent of people in the media and in the fans that are saying that now, with these signings, the Tigers are officially World Series contenders. And I just don't believe it. And maybe I am just a mean old man. Maybe I'm just a hater. But I am old enough to remember when in 15 grueling innings, this putrid, pathetic team of offense went out and scored a measly 2 runs. 2 runs. I'm old enough to remember that. I'm also old enough to remember this team collapsing. A double-digit lead in the division leading to a wild card series that should not have had to happen. All because the team has a offensive problem. And I've been saying it for like 4 years. I've probably been saying it for longer than that. And the only bat of any substance that Scott Harris has signed is Gleyber Torres. And as much as I like Gleyber Torres, he had a great year last year. He is not a needle mover. Okay, if he's on the team, great. If he's off the team, you're probably right where you are. Now, here's the thing. Your pitching staff is absolutely going to win you a lot of games. Tarek Skubal is elite. Framber Valdez is very good. And Justin Verlander is also very good. And Jack Flaherty has an ability to go on hot streaks. And you also got a guy like Casey Mize, who I thought had a very good season last year and certainly could develop into more of a much better role for him. I mean, he was the number 1 overall pick for a reason. But if your best hitter is Riley Green, who struck out a league leading, let me actually pull up the exact number. He struck out a league leading 201 times. They play 162 games, folks. 201 strikeouts. That is putrid. That is unacceptable. And also just 46 walks for him there. I know that he was an all-star. I know that he was a silver slugger. But you can't strike out that much and be a terrifying threat in this league. You just can't. You need to have better plate discipline. And outside of him, who in this lineup is scaring anybody? Is it Javier Baez? Probably not. Is it Spencer Torkelson? Probably not. Is it Zach McKinstry? Shout out Silver Slugger. No, probably not. They had an opportunity to sign Alex Bregman. They didn't. They had an opportunity to sign Bo Bichette. They didn't. They had an opportunity to sign Eugenio Suarez. And they didn't. Now, they probably will be adding some pieces internally. I'd be shocked if either Max Clark or Kevin McGonigal weren't on the team at some point, right? I mean, if McGonigal or Clark make the team by opening day, that'd be fantastic. I think that would certainly add a jolt to, the sentiment of the team that, okay, we got these two new young, high caliber prospects that, were, the first product of the first draft by Scott Harris. He has praised these guys immensely. They've risen up the ranks. There was even talks about bringing up Kevin McGonigal last year, but obviously that didn't lead to anything. But you're putting a lot on the shoulders of these two young men to come in here and just will their way to being top tier offense. Like, let's assume that either McGonigal or Clark wins the Rookie of the Year. Are you now suddenly a terrifying offense? Probably not. Your third baseman, I cannot stress this enough. Your third baseman is Zach McKinstry. I don't care that he won a Silver Slugger. That's not a scary player. Okay? I like Zach McKinstry. He's fun. He went to Central Michigan. He's a utility guy. He can play a lot of positions. He was an all-star. I like him, okay? But it's kind of like Brandon Inge, where fans like him a lot more than the rest of the league fears him. So this team has an offense problem, and I've been saying it for literally since Scott Harris got here, at least, and probably much before. So unless or until Torkelson becomes Pete Alonso, unless or until Riley Green becomes Ken Griffey Jr., or unless or until Colt Keith becomes Derek Jeter, this offense will just not scare people. And as much as I love Kerry Carpenter, if you can't hit against left-handed pitching, then you're just a utility guy. You're Kirk Gibson, okay? And that's fine. Kirk Gibson was a very good player, okay? But you're not understanding. If your answer to, well, our offense is good, look at Kerry Carpenter, you're not understanding the essence of the problem. There's not one singular bat that, as of right now, on February the 10th, in the year of our Lord, 2026, that any team looks at in a bottom of the ninth situation, man in scoring position, where they're like, oh my gosh, we're going to have our hearts broken. There's not one player. There's just not. And I know that's not an intangible, but that's baseball, man. If you're in a bottom of the ninth lineup, or if you're in the bottom of the ninth spot, and you got Juan Soto coming up, or you got Bobby Witt Jr., or Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani, you're terrified. You're probably going to lose the game. But if you have Riley Green, if you have Spencer Torkelson, if you have Zach McKinstry or Gleyber Torres, you're probably not going to lose the game. So, as much as I'm happy about the upgrades in the pitching staff, and I do think this is going to be probably, if not the best, one of the top 3 or 4 pitching staffs in baseball going into this year with Skubal, Valdez, Verlander, Flaherty. I think that's very good. And Mize, that's a very good pitching staff. Your hitting is still not where I need it to be to feel confident in this team. Now, look, maybe they go out and Riley Green cuts the strikeouts in half and goes to being an elite outfielder defensively and offensively. Maybe Spencer Torkelson becomes Freddie Freeman. Okay, maybe. I doubt it, but maybe. That's a big ask. And I just would have preferred that some of the money spent on the Kenley Jansens of the world or the Drew Andersons of the world was spent in adding some bats. We'll see. Maybe the pitching staff will just carry this team and we'll just, ride a division title into the playoffs, and then you're 3 wins away from an ALCS. I'd love nothing more than to be wrong, but I don't know. The lack of hitters does not make me the fact that the pitching is better does not make me feel much better when the lack of hitters has been the main problem. Hey, YouTube, if you like clips like that, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. We've got live shows every Tuesday night. Hope to see you there.